drive past a couple, into the box, get the shot off. Yes! We're at Wembley! After the ball in. Oh, what a chance here! They've done it! Podlevniak! Lafondra looking to get onside of Font. Lafondra away from David! 3-1 Reading! 3 points Reading!
Hello and welcome to a live reaction to the news that Reading have confirmed a 6-point deduction. It's been rumoured all day via numerous journalists and, of course, Eddie, the main man of Reading FC, as we know. I've been joined by Alex and Dave to talk about this. First of all, Alex, what's your immediate emotion? Because mine is just relief that it's sorted.
I mean, it seems like a bit of a bonus, I think. Everybody would have expected it to be more than 6 points, so I don't think anybody can be really too upset with it only being 6.
Yeah, what's your thoughts, Dave, on that then?
Yeah, it's the not knowing that was the worst. It was like hanging over us. Not only is it confirmed, it's less than we thought it was going to be. Nothing but positives for me, yeah.
Yeah, it's just great to get it out there, isn't it? Because I think at the moment, there's a real kind of fear that it was going to be 9, it was going to be 12. Obviously, the major worry I have, and let us know in the comments what you think about this and send us your thoughts, is the contractual issues going forward. The points thing is bad, but 6 I think we can live with. I'm pretty confident that we're going to stay up now, unless we're really unlucky with injuries. But having that for the rest of this season and next season, Alex, that's a major issue going forward, I think, for us.
Yeah, it's painful. I guess it's going to be difficult because you don't know who you're going to be able to re-sign back on those wages that the EFL are going to impose on us for the rest of the season. As you say, I think relegation probably shouldn't be that much of a worry. We're on 16 points now, so we're 4 points clear of Hull, and Derby obviously had their points deduction yesterday as well. So it feels like relegation shouldn't really be a problem once we start to gain some of these players back.
Yeah, I like Paul Hobbs's optimism here in the comments saying it now for the playoff push starts now, Dave. What do you think? Are we in for that one? I mean, I've seen crazier things. 6 points. You kind of like, yeah, it does put us back, but we've still got quality in that team and we've got a lot of players to come back as well. Yeah,
we certainly do. I think, 6 points, it's a much more manageable number. It's 2 wins, right? So if you take 2 games that we didn't expect to win season and unexpectedly
Fulham and Cardiff, Dave, right?
Birmingham from behind. Yes, yeah. Then you're essentially in the same position as we are with this points deduction, So we've got big Andy Carroll to come in, start on Saturday and knock in a hat-trick every couple of games, and we'll be right as rain. We're still above Cardiff, and they didn't even have any points deducted, so we'll be all right.
Yeah, someone's saying it's got to be worth £5 on getting promotion this season. I've no idea that, John, what the odds are on that, but you never know if we can get momentum. And you have mentioned the big man there, Dave Carroll. Sorry, I've mixed them up there. Dave, you mentioned Andy Carroll. I mean, if he manages to stay fit, which is the big if, Alex, we could be looking at a decent signing.
I mean, I guess that's the big if, isn't it? If he stays fit, then who knows? He hasn't gone on a scoring tear for Newcastle over the past few years, but in the Championship, maybe it's a different ball game. Maybe he comes in and just hits the ground running. Who knows? It'll be exciting to watch him play in the next couple of months, and hopefully he scores some goals.
Yeah, I mean, just going back to the situation with the points deduction, now we can move forward with the team. We know where we stand. There's no if, buts, maybes, rumours about what's going to happen. I think it clarifies everything for the players as well and for the management. If you're Paunovic right now, Dave, you must be feeling you're obviously not relieved in some ways because you've actually won 2 games that did they mean nothing? No, they did mean something because otherwise we'd be in an even worse position. But you know where you're going now.
Yeah, it's one of those things like when you're planning anything in life, whether it's results for a football team or something that you've got to get done for work or whatever. It's all about knowing the steps you need to take to be successful. And now we know that, because before it's like, okay, well, we have maybe a points target. I don't know if they set those, but if we do, now we know what that is. We don't have to say plus or minus 9, 12, 6, something else, So I think for Paunovic, the road ahead is now clear. For the players, they're not thinking, oh, are we just going to get dragged into something? I think everybody now knows exactly where they stand, and that can only be a good thing.
Yeah, surely. And that's what we wanted, isn't it? Clarification. We haven't had it drag on until, say, next February or something, which would be the worst case scenario. And
I guess there's only a few downsides really to it, Paul. As you say, the contractual issue is definitely one of them.
It's a huge one, isn't it? I think that worries me more than the point right now.
It's going to make next season very, very tough because, as we all know, so many players are out of contract at the end of this summer anyway. Lauren, Rinomota. Is Tom Holmes out of contract? I think he is. From memory, Yeardom is out of contract. All of the players we signed this summer are out of contract, obviously. And then Raphael out of contract. There's a lot of players to leave. And if we're under an embargo, well, not an embargo, but if we're under I don't know what to call it, wage cap of some kind, it's going to be difficult to replace all those players next year. So although I'm not that worried about us getting relegated this year, next year is going to be just as tough for us to stay up, I think, now.
Yeah, without knowing what the kind of situation with the regulations that we're under, it seems madness that we can only offer 1-year contracts to players like Halovic and all these other players that we could possibly sign in next summer. Who knows? But that doesn't secure us going long term, does it? Because the only way you make a club profitable, as somebody tweeted me earlier today, is actually by buying players and selling them for more. We can't do that if you've got them on a 1-year contract. That's almost impossible, isn't it? It doesn't work, Dave, that model at all. So it's kind of killing us slowly.
I think it kind of comes back to a couple of things, I guess. So the first thing is we're going to continue to be in this mess, worried about points deductions until we do get the high earners, the ones we couldn't afford off the books. So there's a lot of players that we probably won't be able to re-sign that I actually would like us to re-sign. We'll have to accept that. I think it's going to come back down to much like the Medeski years when our most saleable asset would go at the end of every season. We didn't go up. We're going to need to lean on hoping somebody gets excited about our academy players, which makes me sad because this year that would be Luke Southwood.
That's the only way to run the club and run a club in the Championship, though, Dave. I think
it's true.
You have to sell players, and you have to sell players who are wanted by teams in bigger leagues and bigger clubs than you. It's the only way to do it, because otherwise you just end up with this situation that we're in now, where you've got players who are probably on too much money for the league they're in and the position that the club find themselves in.
Yeah,
100%.
Joe brings up the point. Sorry, Dave, brings up the point about John Swift going in January. I don't think he will go because the situation would be so bad. But then I also understand if we do sell him, because it brings some money in. So my point about not selling him is illogical, but I also think that we need him. And what do you both think?
It's a gamble, right? If you sell him, it's a gamble. Tony asked, would you take 3 million for him now or nothing at the end of the season? And it's 3 million is £3 million, but it's going to cost the club far more than £3 million if we get relegated. So it's difficult to say. If we're 12 points clear, then maybe I would take £3 million for him in January. But if we're 5 points clear or 4 points clear, I don't think you can you?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think we need to know more about the numbers on the balance sheet. Like, it sounds foolish, but 3 million, is that going to take a big chunk out of what we need to get sorted? Versus, okay, now we don't create much for the rest of the season from January onwards, and maybe we slip into the relegation zone. Maybe we keep Swift and we're up higher, and that helps us attract not like top level Championship players next season, but we could bring someone in with the low wages because they saw what we did on a budget this time or something. It's kind of short term versus long term. I think if someone was to come in, do a bidding war, and they're like, John Swift, £12 million, well, then obviously the club's going to take that because they can't turn it down. But 2 or 3 million, is it really going to have an impact, offset against Alex's point of the cost of relegation?
Yeah, I'm not sure it will. But yeah, let's finish on a high one and to keep this nicely concise here. Now is the time to get behind the team, isn't it? See Andy Carroll banging a hat-trick on Saturday.
And one positive, Paul, that Tony brings up is, the Derby fans are absolutely rattled that we've only deducted 6 points. So
That's a huge bonus for me. I love that. That makes me very happy. Yeah, obviously, it's a completely different case, so it's impossible to compare the two. We're both in the same league, and that's probably just about where it ends. But yeah, thanks a lot for watching and contributing with your comments, and appreciate it if you'd like to retweet it or whatever. If you don't, fine. Thanks a lot. And let's just hope we stay up this season. I'm confident we will now. Yeah, I'm very, very confident. So cheers.